Great, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So there's this game, Little Nightmares, which I'm quite pleased to hear about because it's been knocking around the internet for a while about what it's about, what it could possibly do, what you can do. It has a kind of aesthetic similar to other games, in that kind of genre. But what's it like?
Well, it's interesting you say that you've been sort of keeping an eye on it because for some reason I knew it existed, but I didn't really even know what it was until I started hearing it was one of those kind of games. And by those kind of games, I'm going to have to get this out of the way right now. It's the elephant in the room. There's no avoiding the comparison between Little Nightmares and sort of Inside and Limbo. More Inside than Limbo, actually. If I was gonna, I feel a bit bad for Tarsier Studios because if Inside hadn't come out, I think the impact of Little Nightmares would be much greater. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
They're very similar games. Like they even use similar mechanics in that there's a lot of darkness. So like this isn't a spoiler for Inside. It's just a minor puzzle. There's one like where there's a light you have to avoid, and you avoid that by moving behind something that's creating shadow. Like they use that in Little Nightmares a few times, in fact. Little Nightmares, I suppose, its take on the game or the genre is the horror.
Yeah.
I can only speak personally. Obviously, that's what a review is. I didn't really find it very scary until quite late on, where I would say it was more creepy than scary, and I can't really explain why without spoiling kind of the final level. You're playing this little girl that looks. The game kind of gives me Silent Hill vibes when I'm playing it. Like I don't mean in terms of. I just mean in terms of like the characters. Like there's these little creatures that kind of look like to my eyes like mini pyramid heads. Like they're not, but they kind of look like that. And then also like the enemies. I say enemies like you're in a world where you're small and everything's massive, and these massive creatures are grotesque. They're human. Ish. I mean, they're human. They are humans, but they're like all grotesque. Like one of them's got like super long arms, and like it's kind of like they creep after you, and the other ones are just like these grotesquely overweight people who are gorging on food, and it sort of trucks in that kind of thing. It's a very dark game in aesthetic. Like it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a strange game. I do like it. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a pretty good game.
Yeah. I mean, is it like a silent game? I like Inside because is there any kind of dialogue or is it just
there's no text, there's no dialogue. There are. See, I think my biggest problem with the game, and it's one I found with Inside a little bit, is the story it leaves. Like, I don't mind. I said this in the review, so if you've read that, apologies for repeating myself. I don't mind a story in a game leaving you the gaps to fill in yourself. Like, for example, until we knew The Last of Us 2 was a thing, The Last of Us leaves you with questions at the end of it. I'm not going to say what happens for spoilers, but there was enough in the game that left me satisfied, and the ending felt impactful because it does leave you going, I wonder what happened next.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like with Inside, and especially with Little Nightmares really doesn't tell you anything.
Okay.
About what's going on in this world, why the world exists. It kind of just does, and that's again, I'm okay with that. In the same way that I'm okay with a game like I don't know, like a Gears of War that's all about explosions, and it's not it's not like that Dragon Cancer. There's enough room for all kinds of games. I just feel like the world is so well realised in how it's designed. Like this, the one thing that differentiates this as well actually is It's 3D. It's a bit like Little Big Planet in that respect. I believe the developers have either developed a Little Big Planet game, like a port, or came from that. I'm not entirely sure. So you rather than just moving side to side and up and down, you actually can move in and out of the world.
Right.
And that creates some new puzzle opportunities and different things. And there are some actually genuinely cool puzzles. But it also means that because of the combination of the 3D world and how dark the world is, there are occasions where you will like be walking right and you think you're walking right, but you actually walk into a table leg because you can't quite judge.
Yeah.
That sort of. And again, like you'll be going along a pipe system, and the pipe's slim, and then it goes slimmer, and you can't quite see. You have to be really careful, is what I'm saying. Like, this is a game that punishes you if you're not careful. It's got a great soundtrack. What I quite appreciate actually is that a lot of games like this front load the good stuff.
Yeah.
I actually think the best stuff in this is late on. It's only about 3-4 hours, maybe 4 tops actually.
Yeah.
There are some collectibles of some description, but at the time of recording and time of reviewing, I can't access the trophies to find out, what I've missed, if you know what I mean. But there's definitely some, I would say, possibly at least one form of collectible. And there's also, you're basically spending the game walking along, deciding whether or not to flick your Zippo open, and she, it's beautifully designed the way she holds her hand over the Zippo to keep it from blowing out, and you light torches along the way, and it's a weird thing to say about this game. People are seeing it and they can see what I mean about how dark it is, but in the darkness, in the gloom, there is a serious beauty to the design. I really appreciate how this game looks. It feels almost unfair, and it feels harsh, but it's the truth is that if you like this genre, you've probably played Inside, and you've probably played Limbo, and this suffers because it has less impact because of it. Yeah, you know what I mean?
But if they had to come before, cheap. It might have been a bit more impactful.
It's cheap. I think it's £20. I saw it on Amazon actually for $15.99, which is very cheap, and that's for a disc version again. There's a nice collector's edition, I suppose, if you like that sort of thing. 3 to 4 hours. There is collectibles again, but for me, it kind of feels like a one and done game. I'm happy with it. I probably won't play it again. It's a good game. It's a pretty good game actually. It's a nice game. It's nice there are games like this that exist. I'm all for it.
Good. Well, if you wanna read more and just kind of get the finer details, then you can read our review on GodIsAGeek.com. Thanks for joining me, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.